If you feel lonely or just want someone around, what do you actually do? OnlyFans? Replica? Or maybe try a luck on seeking arrangement? The problem is the fully virtual options feel hollow. No real world pressure, no physical reality, and the options that do involve real people, privacy leaks, unwanted contact, someone showing up at your door, things getting complicated. But if you ask a Japanese person whether they run into this problem, they'll probably tell you they haven't, and the way they solved it might be one of the strangest industries in the modern world. If OnlyFans feels like talking to a screen, Japan's companionship is something else entirely. More real and almost threatening specific. Need someone to talk to? There's a service for that. Need someone to hold your hand? There's also a service for that. Ear cleaning, lap pillows, even sleeping next to someone. All of them exist as separate services with separate pricing. And before your imagination runs too far, I have to say sleeping together means exactly what it sounds like. Nothing more. Two people in the same room, sometimes in the same bed if you want, with rules, step supervision, and strict boundaries. Because for many customers, that's all they actually want, nothing else. Just another body nearby when it gets quiet at 2 AM. And honestly, if you spend long stretches genuinely alone, you probably know exactly what that feeling is. And if you just want someone to drink with, no attachment, no follow-up. There may be caves and companion bars with trained staff who will sit with you, talk with you, and make absolute sure you'll never feel awkward or like you're performing socially. Just relax and sing. And if your emotional needs are even more specific, the industry becomes more specialized. Lost a relationship? Lost a job? Going through a difficult period? There are professionals for that too. Some top tires can switch between sugar daddy and sugar boy in a single session. Confident executive, gentle listener, protective older figure, playful younger energy. Whatever the emotional role the customer responds to, they do it remarkably well. And more importantly, all these stories happen inside the business environment. Almost never spill over into a real life, which is exactly where it gets complicated. The experience is much too good that some people eventually spend so much money chasing these experiences that the rest of the real life stuff falling apart. If you follow Japanese culture for a while, none of this is surprising. But what's fascinating is the way Japan approaches the entire problem. Instead of treating companionship as one giant emotional need, the system breaks it into components: touch, attention, listening, validation, obedience, ambition. Each one becomes a separate product and a separate purchase. In many societies, if you want company, you first have to describe what you're looking for. In Japan, you just pick from a menu. Such a line for the question, why do I need companionship? You probably find a familiar answer. If you're lonely, admit it, I find a professional. The media line is always independence, self-awareness, courage to force your own needs, clean language, respectable framing. But the reality is nobody stands up in public and says, I spent 2 hours on OnlyFans last night, or I tipped a Twitch streamer because I was bored. Do that and see how the room responds. And honestly, that's why I think Japan's approach might be the more honest one. They know people crave attention, validation, recognition, and connection, so they turn them into commercial products. You want to talk to someone attractive but you're nervous? There's a service. You want your favorite idol to notice you? There's a paid handshake even. The system may not openly admit that companionship is a basic human need, but it doesn't immediately medicalize it either. You don't have to convince yourself you're broken before you're allowed to seek comfort. And once you strip away all the media narratives, something becomes obvious. Being seen, being accepted, being genuinely acknowledged. They are baseline human needs, nobody exceptional. You know, many people find the freer they become, the lonelier they feel. That's not your fault. The really matter is modern cities, especially the large ones. They've been quietly dismantling everything that used to provide emotional needs for free. Village, region, extended family, connective ritual. These structures generated belonging, meaning, care and entertainment. What they didn't generate is the economic output, so they get replaced by therapy, companion apps, the pet economy and social media. The problems are often the same. What's changed is the emotional needs create a scalable market as people becoming more isolated and atomized. That's why almost every developed country talks about loneliness crisis, yet almost none rebuild community structures that scale, because doing so will mean dismantling the massive market that runs entirely on loneliness. Sounds harsh to individuals, but that is the structure. So if you genuinely need companionship, which path is better? The standard media answer is that the Western framework is more humane. Loneliness in the West just means you need treatment. In Japan, it marks total social failure, therapy over entertainment. But here's the uncomfortable part. Whether you spend the evening on OnlyFans or at a host club, the result is the same. You got a dopamine hit, but only for a while. Then the dopamine fades, the emptiness is worse than before. Then you want the next session. It's like spending the whole day watching short videos, completely observe while it's happening. Then suddenly you look outside, it's dark. The days he's gone, and somehow you feel emptier than before. Because all the emotional services provide the form of connection, not the substance. The real emotional bonds require things that the market struggle to sell. Just like no matter how convincing the performances is, both sides know a simple truth. The transaction ends, the feeling ends, the relationship resets to zero. So is there actually a solution? Maybe, but it's probably not the answer most people want. Not reading, not meditation, not therapy. Forget what the system tells you. The deeper answer is much less attractive. You give up some freedom. You make commitments that are unreasonably optional. You choose specific people instead of keeping every option open. You allow yourself to be known and accept the possibility of rejection and pain. And you keep investing time even when the rewards are not guaranteed. Sounds familiar, right? It should, because that's exactly how long-term marriages work. To be or not to be. Even the smartest philosophers never quite figure this one out. Anyway, that's it for today. If you also like digging to the root, hit follow. We'll dig it here next time.